Good day everyone, my name is Alaiza and today we will tackle about the teaching of speaking. But before that, what is speaking? Yes, very good. It's the process of building and sharing meaning. So speaking is a crucial part of second language learning and teaching. So despite its importance for many years, so teaching speaking has been undervalued, and English language teachers have continued to teach speaking just as a repetitions of drills or memorizations of dialogues. However, today's world requires that the goal of teaching speaking should improve students' communicative skills, because only in that way students can express themselves and learn how to follow the social and cultural rules appropriate in each communicative circumstance. So that's the speaking. So let's move now let's move on. So what is teaching speaking? Yes, teaching speaking is use words and sentence stress, intonations patterns, and the rhymes of the second language. So first, what is stress? So stress is when you pronounce some syllables more strongly than others. For example, in the word banana. So the stress on the the stress is on the second syllables, right? And the word orange. So the stress is on the first syllable. And the intonations is the way the pitch of a speaker voice goes up or down as they speak. And for the rhyme, the sentence stress is what gives English its rhymes. So the next one is select appropriate words and sentences according to the proper social settings, audience, situations, and subject matter. So it means that when speaking, you need to choose an appropriate words and sentences that it will suit it depending on the different situations. For example is, when speaking to the elementary students, so that is the audience in the school. So situation, social settings, when the subject matter of telling them to listen to your discussions, then you need to choose a proper way of delivering words and sentences. Understand? Yes, very good. So the next one is organize their thoughts in a meaningful and logical sequence. So it means that when speaking, you need to first organize your thoughts. It means it needs to be in a sequence by order, but in a meaningful way. So the next one is use the language as a means of expressing values and judgments. So language is the words and expressions used and understood by a large group of people. So that's why it needs to express various of values and judgments. So the next one is use the language quickly and confidently with few unnatural pauses, which called fluency. So what is fluency? Yes, fluency is the extent to which speakers use the language quickly and confidently, with few hesitations or unnatural pauses. So when speaking, fluency is needed in order to deliver your message properly and for the people to understand. So now let's move on to the 6 principles for teaching. So these are the 6 principles of teaching speaking. Number 1, creating realistic situations. So it will help the students if they practice and use English in a realistic situation. So the teacher should think of a situations where the type of language he wants to introduce is commonly used. So the second one is engage all students engage all the students when teaching speaking. The teacher should see the classroom as a community. So the students should communicate with each other and not only with the teacher. So the teacher should think of ways to engage all the students and make them speak with a reason to do so. So the third one is supporting the qualities of spoken language. So when we speak our own language, we sometimes use different ways to communicate, right? Then to make sure people understand us and that we understand them, for example, is we ask someone to repeat or use different body language. So students should learn to do the same when they speak a foreign language, and teachers should support these qualities when the teaching speaking, right? So number 4 is personalizing speaking topics. So it will be easier for students to speak in a foreign language about topics they are interested in. So personal topics and topics close to their lives. So the teacher should think about his students' lives and interest when he plans to teach and develop speaking, right? Yeah, so now let's move on to number 5, creating an unfearful class. So a lot of students are afraid of speaking in class. They are too shy. Yes, I belong to that. Or they don't want to make mistake. Yes, nakakatakot magkaroon ng mistake. It is the rule of the teachers to create friendly class where the students feel happy and relaxed. So it encourages them to speak without fear or hesitations. So the last one is planning different and various types of speaking activities. So it is a good idea to plan 2 types of activities. One where the students practice vocabulary and grammar in more controlled way, and another types is where students can speak freely. So now let's proceed to most typical speaking activities. So discussion is one of the typical speaking activity in which in a certain scenario where more mature students can discuss and debate issues with partner, and they can even be told which side of the argument they should each try to promote. So this could be a precursor to a full-blown classroom debate. So that's the discussion. So now let's proceed to the second one, the speeches. So speeches is the typical activity, a communication through talking or a talk given to an audience. An example of speech is a conversations between 2 people. So that's the speeches. So, and the last one is role. So the role play is any speaking activity when you either put yourself into somebody else's shoes or when you stay in your own shoes. But put yourself into an imaginary situation. So that's the role play. And that's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you understand the discussions, and thank you again. Goodbye.